Hey friends, how are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing so well, and welcome back to another brands list video. If you guys have been watching me, then you know that I make a lot of these list videos where I tell you what brands you should pick up to resell online and sometimes what brands you shouldn't pick up. And today we're gonna talk about that latter category where I'm gonna tell you guys some brands that I would not suggest picking up to resell because they do not sell super well or super quickly. But there are a lot of factors that you have to consider when you're picking up a piece to resell it online for a profit. And so like not just brand, we have style, we have condition, we have price. There's a lot of things that affect if you should pick up a piece or not to resell. But today we're gonna talk about brands. So there's gonna be exceptions to any rule. There might be one specific style from a brand that does sell really well and nothing else sells well at all. So there's gonna be exceptions along the way. But these are on the whole brands that I've just been skipping over unless that piece is spectacular and will sell because of its styling and not because of its brand. So if you guys are like me and enjoy reselling, enjoy thrifting, then this is a great video for you. These videos take a lot of time and effort. So if you want to show me some support, give today's video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. But let's jump into it. We have 50 brands here today. So let's scoot to the side and get started. As always, I'm going to be putting the pictures of the tags up here on the side for you guys. So that way you can visualize what the tag looks like. I'm a visual learner. I know that I would need to see what the brand tags actually look like in order to learn anything. So I hope that helps you guys too. But let's jump into it. The first brand on this list is Joie. So Joie. This is a brand that is expensive. It's sold at places like Nordstrom. I've been seeing it even at like TJ Maxx and things like that nowadays. But even though it's expensive, it just isn't moving. It's high quality, they're beautiful pieces, but I cannot sell this brand to save my life. I have had this amazing, beautiful dress sitting in my inventory for years now, and I have no interest in it. And it is gorgeous. It's a beautiful dress. I got it in the bins. It was a beautiful piece. I just can't sell it. And I don't know what is going on with it, but I've heard many other resellers talk about how they also can't sell this brand. So that being said, I would skip this one. Next up is Current Elliott, which a couple years ago I would have been psyched to find, but now when I find it, I'm no longer excited. If I'm excited at all, it has to be based on the style of the piece within the brand, but just the name is not gonna sell this piece. And I feel like that's what I'm finding on the whole, just across the board. I feel like a few years ago, if you had any piece that was from a specific brand, it would just sell. But now you have to really consider style and all of these other factors, which makes sense. And I think that's actually better. But sometimes I still just get excited by brands and see the tag and I'm like, yes, I've gotta pick it up. And then I realize that the actual piece itself will not sell for that much. Number 3 is Rag & Bone. This is along the same lines of Current Elliott, where it's another expensive brand, and some pieces within Rag & Bone will still sell for good money. I'm thinking like if I found a jacket or a blazer or something like nice, I'm sure it would still sell for good money because it is very expensive. And I love to sell their leather shoes, but every time I see a Rag & Bone pair of jeans, at this point, I'm pretty much leaving it in the thrift store. Even if it's really cheap, I just have not had good luck selling their pants anymore. And so that's something that I'm almost always leaving behind. The same thing with Frame and Page. I have both of those next on the list. Frame jeans, a lot of them, especially skinny jeans, I'm just leaving behind. Almost all Frame pieces I'm leaving behind, even though it's expensive, it's nice. And of course, I'm talking about resale value here. If I found a Frame piece in my size, I would probably pick it up for myself because it's really nice. I just am having a hard time selling it for the amount of money that I want to sell it for. Same thing with Page jeans. I would pick it up for myself, but I'm not going to pick it up to resell. Does that make sense? Okay, so those are some jeans that I'm definitely leaving behind. But then next up is Soft Surroundings. I know I've made another video like this in the past, and I believe that this was also on that video as well. Soft Surroundings, again, nice pieces. And this is gonna be pretty much the case across the board, where they're gonna be nice pieces, but they just haven't been selling well. And so again, anything on this list, I would probably pick up for myself. I just don't think that it should be picked up to resell unless you find something that's a standout piece. Number 7 is Michael Stars. Again, something I would have been so excited to find a few years ago. The other day at the thrift store, I found I think like 10 Michael Stars pieces in a row. Looked up comps and I just left them all behind because they were only selling for like maybe 20 bucks. And that was pushing it. So again, if you find it in the bins, maybe, but probably not for reselling. Number 8 is Eliza J, a brand that I loved to pick up, and and I still get almost tricked into picking it up nowadays. And especially if I find a beautiful dress, especially like a more formal gown, sometimes I will pick it up, or a new with tags piece I'm more tempted to pick up. But on the whole, I still have tons of Eliza J dresses just sitting in my inventory that I picked up like 2 years ago. So it's just another one of those ones that probably is not worth your time picking up, even though it's really nice and does retail for a lot of money. It's another one that's been sold more and more though, I feel like at TJ Maxx and things like that, and that can also have an impact on the cost. Number 9 is Michael Kors. I've talked about Michael Kors quite a bit before. I just feel like Michael Kors has been really just kind of trending down. I feel like there's not as much of a customer base looking for it, but also they have diffusion labels, Michael by Michael Kors. I see that all the time, and it gets marked up at my thrift stores, but it's actually not that expensive. And I can find things from more obscure brands that are worth a lot more. So I have been leaving behind. The next 3 brands kind of all go hand in hand. 10 is Ann Taylor, then we have Lou & Grey, and then we have Loft. But again, I might pick up a piece for myself from these brands, but they just haven't been reselling for a ton of money. If you go in and look at solds just across the board for any of these brands, it's pretty low. So again, it depends on if you're getting a bunch of this stuff for free, I'm sure it's worth listing. I think it's just figuring out what your price is that you want to list things for, but these pieces will not sell for more than 20 bucks. Unless you have like a unicorn piece, I think that they're probably not going to be worth selling. Unless you maybe have some new tags items and you lot them all up together, it could potentially be worth it, but that's another brand that I often just leave behind. And then it hurts my little heart, but number 13 is Boden. I love Boden. I still love Boden. I'll pick up mini Boden items for myself, or I'll find Boden pieces that I'll be happy to give to somebody that I know, but I just have been having a lot of trouble moving them unless they're like a more novelty print, they're new at tags, they're more unique or more modern. A lot of Boden that I find is old and just is outdated. But yeah, Boden, pretty much I've been leaving a lot of it behind, especially like shirts. I just haven't been picking up as much anymore. And if I do pick them up, they don't sell very quickly or for much money. Then 14 is Express. This is one that I have been avoiding picking up for a long time. Even new at tags things, I feel like I cannot sell. I feel like this is a good brand that you could pick up in the bins to resell on Whatnot, something like that. And you'd be selling them at a lower price. But on the whole, if you're listing on eBay, Poshmark, anything like that, I feel like Express is just one of those things that's probably not gonna be as worth it. Same thing with Calvin Klein, number 15. Calvin Klein, I just feel like is like, I only can think of it being at Kohl's, something like that, and things that are sold at Kohl's generally don't resell very well. So not my favorite Calvin Klein. It kind of goes with that Michael Kors as well. Something that I used to think of as being more like sought after in designer, but nowadays it's just not reselling. And that's kind of the mindset you have to shift away from as a reseller. Things that you knew as good brands to just buy for yourself does not necessarily equal good brands to resell. And that's the hard lesson of a lot of new resellers is you'll go out, you'll see Calvin Klein, you're like, oh my goodness, Calvin Klein, Tommy Hilfiger, those are great brands, I need to pick those up, but then they don't resell. And there's always exceptions to the rule, but just on the whole is a training of yourself to see value in different places than what you had seen value in before you started reselling, which is an interesting journey and really fun, right? So 16 is Champion. I love Champion. Maybe I would pick up a reverse weave or a really cool Champion, like reverse weave, like with a college, like football team on it or something like that. But on the whole, I have been leaving a lot of Champion behind, especially just plain pieces, definitely t-shirts, I'm not picking up. Maybe a Champion sweatshirt in the bins, I'm not sure. But yeah, Champion, I've been leaving behind. 17 is Simply Southern. Simply Southern, I used to be excited about finding in the bins, but I mean, a t-shirt sometimes can sell for like 20 bucks, but on the whole, a lot of them are oversaturated and not selling for as much money. 18, BCBG. I have seen other people do well with this brand. I have to say, I did pick up a BCBG new with tags, like Y2K, little tank top piece. It was amazing. I sold that this last couple months. Other than that, I haven't seen a single piece that I would recommend picking up. Unless you can find something that's like Y2K, vintage, really cool, is probably not gonna be worth selling. Okay, number 19 is Hudson, which is really similar to what we were talking about with the Paige jeans and the Rag & Bone jeans and the frame jeans as well. Hudson jeans, I have just had so many pairs sitting. It also will depend on the style. I've not been finding newer styles from them. I've only been finding like a skinny jean, a stiletto jean. So on the whole, those are probably not worth picking up. But again, I have to look into the styles of these pieces. Number 20 is Allbirds. Unfortunately, I love Allbirds. I have worn Allbirds. I have pairs of Allbirds. They're really nice, but the sell-through rate and also just the price you can sell them for has really dropped. And so I would not be buying them, especially if they mark them up at your thrift stores. Just won't do as well as they used to. 21, Sanctuary. I don't even know who I heard that liked to pick up Sanctuary, but that really influenced me, and I was like, oh, I should pick up Sanctuary. Sanctuary does not sell for me. Maybe it sells for other people. I can't move it. Number 22 is Simply Vera by Vera Wang, and I think people get this confused because Vera Wang, great brand to resell. White by Vera Wang, great brand to resell. She is a designer. She does a lot of wedding dress and like kind of more formal looks. Simply Vera by Vera Wang is her diffusion label, and it's sold at Kohl's. It is not very expensive and it does not sell for money. So definitely one I would avoid. But this is the thing, I have talked about diffusion labels quite a few times. Diffusion labels are the cheaper items from designers that they make specifically for a lower amount of money. So then you'll find some pieces that are worth money, but those are from the designer and not by their diffusion label. This next brand is one that I need to like preach to myself. Do not pick up Rami Brook. Do not pick up Rami Brook. It's so expensive. They're beautiful pieces. I cannot sell them to save my life. I need to stop buying them, but they're so expensive, so beautiful, and I'm always suckered into it. But that's another brand that I would not recommend, but obviously there's styles within that brand that could be worth it. Next up is Calia by Carrie Underwood. I know that some people really love this brand. And again, I'm not knocking it, buy it for yourself. I'm only talking about resale value. I don't think the resale value is really there for this. We're kind of making our way into some more activewear brands that I would be passing on if I were you. So we have the Calia by Carrie Underwood. Then we have Fila. Y'all, Fila, I just cannot move it, and I have sold it. I found it in the bins. I've gotten it for cheap. I've sold it for like $12. It's just not worth your time, at least in my opinion, not worth my time. Then we have Fabletics. I've been finding Fabletics everywhere. Fabletics is churning out pieces at the speed of light. They're constantly doing new collections. They're constantly feeding into the always needing a new outfit kind of mind frame, and I don't love that. I think that that is not with the times. I think people are looking for more high quality pieces that they can keep for forever rather than just a very, very niched, trendy piece. Fabletics I see at the thrift store all the time, and I've had not very much luck selling them. I've had pieces sit for years, so I'm no longer picking up that brand. Reebok and Adidas, 27 and 28. Both of them I have had not very much luck selling lately, and I don't think that they're gonna be worth your time. Number 29 is kind of a 2-for-1. Victoria's Secret Pink. I know, I feel like when I was in high school, maybe like in the 2012s, 2014 area, Victoria's Secret, huge. Everybody loves Victoria's Secret. Everybody needs it. But nowadays, I feel like there's so many great alternatives to this. And also even Victoria's Secret Pink, I feel like there's so many alternatives. Like I'm thinking Skims, and there's so many more nice athleisure brands out nowadays, like Aloe Yoga. Things like that I think just do much better. Number 30 is something I still like to wear for myself, and that's Aerie. I will find a good piece from Aerie and I will keep it. Sorry, I'm watching somebody run a stop sign right now. Classic. But Aerie in general, oh, they're going so fast. Oh my gosh. But Aerie on the whole, I've not been selling, and I haven't sold for a while now. And the things that I have had just sit and sit. So then we have Altered State. I don't know if I've talked about Altered State. I love Altered State. I think it's a really cute brand, really cute pieces, not super well made, kind of expensive in store, but then I can't sell them for very good money. Maybe if I pick them up in the bins, or if I was picking them up to sell on Whatnot where I'm expecting a lower sale price, then I think it's worth it. But if you're selling outright on eBay or Poshmark, I don't think it's gonna be worth your time. Unless you find a new tags like really expensive dress, but a lot of the pieces are not gonna give you what you want. Then we have Juicy Couture, and there's exceptions. If you find vintage Juicy Couture, that stuff can sell for money. Anything modern Juicy Couture, I have not seen selling for very much money. If you're finding a vintage Juicy Couture bag, their velour sets, those things can sell for like hundreds of dollars. Anything modern or anything that's just like a loose, like a t-shirt, things like that, they're not gonna be worth your time. 33 is Lucky Brand. I know some people love Lucky Brand, and occasionally I will still pick up a boot or a shoe from Lucky Brand, but I've not had any luck, it feels like, selling this brand. I don't know how other people do it. doesn't sell for me. And again, if you guys disagree with any of these, let me know down below, in a kind way, of course, because I'm putting together things that have not worked for me, and that doesn't mean they don't work for you, but these, based on my experience, are what I would not suggest picking up. 34 is Jessica Simpson. This goes along with the Simply Vera by Vera Wang. They're both sold at Kohl's. Jessica Simpson pieces also don't sell for very much money, even though they might be expensive on the front end. 35 is a little bit of a shocker, and it is Trina Turk. I have sold Trina Turk for good money, but I also have sat on the pieces that I have sold for years. I don't sell this very fast. It usually sells for decent money, but after like 3 years, just depends on how long you want to sit on the pieces, how good the sell-through rate is. And I feel like this is one of those pieces where sell-through rate is never very high. And so based on that fact alone, I think it's probably not usually worth reselling. 36 is Columbia. I've talked about Columbia quite a few times. It just doesn't sell for very much. I feel like it's just so readily available nowadays that they've made so many pieces that it's just not really gonna garner a lot of money, maybe 10, 15 bucks. Not really what I'm looking for. Maybe it's what you're looking for though. 37 is Lulu's, a brand that I used to love to sell. I used to love selling Lulu's dresses, and they used to sell for good money for me, but I feel like it's kind of been eclipsed by other brands. Lulu's is kind of on the same plane as Windsor for me, but I would much rather find a Lucy in the Sky dress than I would a Lulu's dress today. I have sold a lot of Lucy in the Sky dresses for around 50 bucks. Kind of the same quality, but just something about that brand sells better than Lulu's nowadays. Number 38 is Miss Me jeans. And this is one of the things that every time I see them, I'm like, should I look them up? And then I look them up and I'm always disappointed. I'm like, okay, it's not worth my time. But I guess if I found them in the bins, maybe I'd pick them up and sell them for maybe 20 bucks. And that could be worth it, but I'm not gonna spend $8, $10 for a pair of Miss Me jeans just to resell them for like $20. It's just not worth my time. Number 39 is LuLaRoe. Do I need to say more? Have you guys watched the documentary? LuLaRoe is just a hot mess, and a lot of their clothing is just so bad. And I find it all the time in the thrift store, even still. And I feel like they've been out of business for years, and I still am finding piece after piece of LuLaRoe. And so yeah, I avoid that one like the plague. 40 is Gymshark. I cannot sell this unless I'm selling this for a lower price point, maybe in a whatnot show, or if I'm lotting up some Gymshark pieces, or I find like a kind of rarer piece, then I'll pick it up, or maybe I'll pick it up for my husband or for myself, but to resell is a hard sell. 41, Banana Republic. Some people love it. I can't sell it to save my life, and maybe I would pick up like a Banana Republic leather jacket. I'm wondering if I even would do that. I don't think they even make real leather jackets. I just feel like they're one of those workwear brands that is just been falling off since COVID, because not many people are going to the office, and if they are, they're not wearing as much of that kind of like workwear stuff they used to be wearing. So like Express, Banana Republic, White House Black Market, that's number 42. All three of those I feel like have really fallen off, and people are not wanting to spend more money on them on the resale market. So Banana Republic and then White House Black Market is 42. Same thing, expensive pieces, but the resale value is not very good. 43 is Vineyard Vines, and sometimes there's exceptions to this rule. I do find some pieces can do okay, but on the whole, I'm always passing on Vineyard Vines. Unless I'm picking it up for my husband or somebody I know or a friend, on the whole, hasn't really been selling quickly and not for as much as it used to. Then I have a whole bunch of fast fashion brands here in a little tight little nugget here for you together. Anything that is churning out their pieces at the speed of light, is extremely cheap, doesn't pay their workers, is contributing to modern day slavery. Those are brands I never want to support ever. And these are some of them: Boohoo, Romwe, Misguided, Fashion Nova, Shein, and Topshop. Shein is the worst of these, I feel like, but also none of them are great. So I would never suggest picking up anything from those brands. I have in the past sold a few of these pieces, and they don't sell for great money, but also just in the whole, at least seriously, not firsthand, don't ever support these brands. They're not doing things right, and they definitely are not contributing to the world I want to be a part of. But yeah, Boohoo, Romwe, Misguided, Fashion Nova, Shein, Topshop. Shein, I mean, I don't know if Topshop is exactly the same as the others, but Shein, Don't get me started. I could go on, and it does not make me happy. So yeah, so those are some fast fashion brands that I would not talk about. So with Topshop included, that's 49 brands. And I actually wanted to stop right there. There's 49 brands. I know this is a 50 brand list, but I stopped there because I want you guys to leave me your 50th brand down below. I want to know what brand that you guys would not suggest picking up. It doesn't move for you. You haven't had good luck with it. It doesn't have a high sell-through rate. It feels like everybody's telling you to pick it up, but you know it's not worth money. That's what I want you to leave in the comments down below. So what's your number 50 to complete this list? And then whatever comments get the most likes, I will pin to the top to see what you guys thought was actually a good brand to add onto this list. And who knows, maybe your contributions will make it into another video. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this brands list and have any ideas for more brands lists that you guys would like to see, any categories you want to know what brands sell well in, let me know those ideas down below. I will probably get to them in the future, but thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And until the next video, bye.